This video is going to show you how to make Bella's Dreamcatcher from the movie New Moon. This is what mine looks like. This same technique can be applied to any Dreamcatcher. You make them all the same exact way. So here are the materials. You'll need a twig wreath, some light hemp, a pair of scissors, and some earthy beads. I thought you would need a glue gun, but you do not. So the first thing you're going to do is take a nice long piece of hemp, depending on how big your twig wreath is, and secure an end of it to the wreath. So now you're just going to take your long end and you're going to create a loop to the right, put the end over the wreath, and then pull it through the loop that you just made. And then you're going to tighten it and pull it to the right. And you're going to do the same exact thing. This is all you do the entire time. So it's a bit tedious, it takes a while, but that's all you're doing. So again, I'm going to tighten it and pull it to the right. And I'm wrapping it over the twig wreath, and then I'm pulling it through the loop. And moving to the right. So as you can see, we are pretty much back to where we started. I'm going to end it by putting the loop over the first, like where I first secured it on the string so that it's a complete circle. And so now you're going to have these lines like that. You're just going to do the same exact thing on those. It's gonna begin to spiral. So I'm putting it over the hemp and then pulling it under through the loop, which the loop is not as obvious on these for whatever reason. But I'm just putting it over and then under to the left. And I think it's getting stuck on the twig wreath right here. But you can see that's what it should look like. So you just keep doing it again and again and again, and it continues to spiral until you have something looking like this. So I'm almost done, just in the middle. So in the middle, you can string a bead on. This is just a piece of coral. And then once you do that, I'm just tying it off on like the other side of the Dreamcatcher, if that makes sense. So I'm just tying it off so that the string, or that the bead isn't flopping around everywhere. It's nice and stationary. And then just cut off the excess, and you shouldn't be able to see it. It shouldn't be a huge knot. So this is what it should look like. It doesn't have to be exactly the same because everyone's going to look different, but so what I did was I just took another piece of the hemp, but a shorter piece, and I'm just tying like a loop at the top so that you can hang this anywhere. So I'm just tying the same exact knot. So now I just flipped it completely over, and I'm taking a longer piece of hemp and I'm attaching it to the very bottom of the wreath. Having some difficulty, the twigs are really frustrating. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish tying the knot and then cut off some of the short excess. And now what I'm going to do with the rest of this string is just string on some beads. So I'm stringing on a leaf bead right now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot right underneath it to hold it in place. I'm going to kind of space them out. So I'm just pushing the knot right up to the base of this bead, and now I'm tying another knot a little bit further down just so there's some space in between them. So you can see there's a little bit of space on the string. And then I just put another bead on, and I'm tying another knot underneath it to keep it in place. And now I'm just stringing another bead on. And then tie a knot to keep that one in place as well. And then you can't really see, but I made the knot too low, and so I took off a piece of the twig, and I'm actually like dragging the knot. So if you guys have like a needle or something tiny like that, you can just use it to pull the knot to where you want it to go. And then at the very end of my string, I ended up tying on a shell because they do live near the beach, and so I thought that Jacob would probably put on a shell or two. On the actual one they used in the movie, there was actually like a shark tooth looking thing on it. It was black. But I obviously did not have one of those, so I just used a shell from Joann's. And I'm just double knotting it to make sure that it's on there nice and solid. These strings can be as long or as short as you want them to be. It doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really matter what beads you put on them as well. Keep in mind that Jacob did make this, so it's going to be pretty earthy and pretty, I don't know, manly. So you're just going to do this 4 or 5 times. Here's what mine turned out looking like. I used some turquoise, I also used some coral and some other type of like amber beads and some purple beads, and there's the inside of mine. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.